Community Town.
What was that?
Welcome once again to Channel 18's Community Journal. Today we have a very special guest who has some important information about housing rehabilitations. Her name is Jean Stanley, and she is the program director for the Dennis Harwich Housing Rehabilitation Group Agency or group or
Program.
program. Okay, and so Jean's going to start us off by telling us a little bit about what the program does and what specifically she does within the program.
Great.
Go ahead, Jean.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, the Dennis Harwich Housing Rehabilitation Loan Program is a very sought-after program in the towns of Dennis and Harwich. We are grant funded. The monies start at a federal level, they go to the state level, and then we administer them to the towns of Dennis and Harwich. So it's a grant fund that homeowners are eligible to apply for if they own their own home. They must live in Dennis and Harwich, and then within Dennis and Harwich we do have target areas. And they must be a year-round resident and income qualify. So once all of those qualifications come through.
In the range of income qualifications, can you give us some idea?
Yes. I believe, don't quote me on the exact number, but a family with one individual, say, you have to make less than $45,000. Two people is around $51,000. So if you make less than that gross income per year, then you pre-qualify for this loan. Okay. We use the term loan because it does come through as a loan. There's a lien on the property. However, it's 0%, so you don't pay any interest. It's deferred, so you don't have to make any monthly payments. And the best part, it's forgivable.
Wow.
So that means if you stay in your home 15 years, every year, automatically, 1/15 of the amount of the loan is erased or forgiven. So at the end of 15 years, you get a discharge that there is no more loan on your property, and you're done.
Very good. Now, if in the 15 years you might need something else, can you reapply?
No,
Okay.
It's a one-time only. Okay, so as you can imagine, it's very sought after funding. So we try to spread the money to as many residents as we can. When we go into a home, we're able to address critical home repairs. Okay, so these are the types of repairs such as replacing a roof, replacing a heating system. We typically do doors, windows, rotting trim, siding. If there is a health issue in the home, okay, for instance, if there's rust in an old sink, that would be a health issue. We address safety issues. If there aren't any smoke detectors and CO2s, we install those. Even to the point if there's an uneven floor, okay, that could cause a trip hazard for an elderly person, we can either replace the floor, we can pull up carpet. It's not cosmetic. We don't do any cosmetic work. So the work that we do has to be associated with a building code or life safety code.
Boy, you really get into the important things of a house. You almost rebuild part of the house.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And the mission of the grant is to keep our communities and its residents safe, okay, and thriving. You know, these days the economy is really tough, and big ticket items get really hard to be put on the list. We've gone into homes and fixed things that perhaps the homeowner would be able to stay there had we not fixed it. We did a home, I was telling you earlier, we did a home in Dennisport where the truss system in the roof was inadequate and the roof was threatening to collapse.
Now that would receive, I would expect, some sort of priority. Do you as you look at your applicants and their request, do you have somebody goes out and prioritizes the
Yes.
needs?
Yes. The way it works is it's first come, first serve. So anybody who fills out a pre-application, and they can do that by calling the office, and we can do it right on the phone. The next step is we fill out a loan application. That's what the homeowner needs to do, is fill out a full loan application. When we get those in, then we see what kinds of repairs the homeowner is asking for. So sometimes a homeowner will know, my roof is leaking, and that's an emergency, so it moves to the top of the list. Sometimes in the case where this home, that the roof was ready to collapse, the homeowner didn't realize how bad the roof was. So once we went out there, we meaning myself and the rehab specialist, we saw how dire she needed a new roof. So she got moved to the top. It's first come, first serve, but when there's an emergency, then we go by emergencies.
Okay, and now do you want to give us your number so that people can we'll put that on the screen? So.
That would be great. There's two ways you can get in touch with me. I work for The Resource, Inc. It's a nonprofit agency right here in locally. It's in South Dennis. And the phone number is 508-760-4900. You could also reach me by email, which is Jean, Jean, @theresource.org.
Very good.
Okay. We also have a website. I'll put that in there too, because you can download the application right from the website, or at least see the kinds of things that we would need in order to qualify a homeowner. And that website is theresource.org.
Just simply theresource.org.
Yep.
Now, given some of the repairs that we've talked about, my first thought is people who need all that probably don't even have a computer.
Yeah. That could be true.
So do you offer assistance to those who have to make out this loan application, or people who say, they're just not into doing those sort of things?
Yes.
And they may call and they say, well, I don't, they hem and haw, and you really have to drag something out of them. Mm-hmm. Do you then sometimes go out and sit down with them and help them?
Typically what we do is many times people will call in, and maybe the easiest thing is they have a question and we can answer it on the phone. So we always have phone assistance. If they need more time, then they can come into the office. We're located at 35 Route 134 in South Dennis. It's right by the intersection of 28 and 134. So they could come make an appointment, come into our office, and we could sit down and go over their loan application. Now, sometimes we get elderly or people that have disabilities, or maybe there's a mom. We had a mom one year who worked from home, and she had 3 little kids. So we can also do house visits if we need to. And then we go out, and then we can sit down and go over all the information. We do suggest, though, that our loan packet is fairly detailed in the kinds of things that a homeowner will need. So we do require that when we sit down, they at least have all that stuff in one place.
Very good. As you out there, you're listening, you can understand that this rehab organization goes to any length to make sure that you receive the necessary help to straighten out your home and to get it fixed up so that it's very safe for you to live in. So tell us a little bit more about the application. It's a lot of paperwork to it, or is it simple? Or
there is a lot of paperwork. I'm just going to
so
say
therefore,
it.
If you need help, go down and see
I'll tell you one thing. If you're a senior citizen, actually you have the easiest time because then you give us your Social Security benefits. So of course we have to provide proof of income. Okay, so if you're a senior, then you would give us your Social Security or your benefit letter, that kind of thing. We need bank statements. to verify your income and what's coming into the account. All of this, by the way, is confidential. We do not share any personal information with the town of Dennis or Harwich. We don't share it with the state or with the IRS. So it's strictly for our qualification purposes only.
So you are the administrators of the loan.
Yes.
And whatever they tell you goes towards your understanding of their needs, and that's as far as it goes.
Yes. Yep. We only take, of course, we don't take originals of anything, and we return paperwork if it doesn't work out. If you're on a waiting list, we keep it. You don't have to fill out a new application every year if you filled out your loan application and you qualify. But maybe we didn't have room one year and you went over into the next year. You might be at the top of the list. And in that case, we would ask you to provide updated financial information. We look at the previous 2 months. That's what we collect. 8 weeks worth of pay stubs. We look at all the income, child support, all that kind of, everything that would be income.
Now, do you get help from other organizations?
Well, the great thing is we enlist other organizations to help us if the funding that we have, which is up to $30,000 per home, if it looks like it's going to run over, then we might bring in Cape Light Compact, Housing Assistance Corp for weatherization. South Middlesex Opportunity Council is a wonderful organization that has funds for disabled and elderly homeowners. So we bring in other agencies as we need it to help with leverage funding.
It's wonderful. It sounds like a great program for anybody who, once you walk around your home and you see that there's things that you can't afford to do, hopefully you will write down the number, which will be on the screen, and that you will contact Jean at least and talk with people in her office or talk with her and begin the process that will get you into a much safer environment. So, Jean, we thank you very much for bringing this to the attention.
Thank you.
Harwich and anybody. This will eventually get on you too. So, and we appreciate all that you do. We want to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate being here. Thank you very much.
That's a wrap.
Did we get in under the right time?